Good morning, buddy. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. We certainly did in Minnesota when we're getting in the 50-degree range in at the beginning of March. So hopefully you're experiencing that same kind of good weather. So go ahead and get started here. Life's great question. Discover how you can contribute to the world. That's life's great question. Where can you find your greatest contribution to the world? What's so great about that question? What's so great about that question? Where can you find your greatest contribution to the world? That's the key to what? If you can do that, you've just become what? Successful. Happy? Sure, absolutely happy and successful, because that's if you can provide the greatest contribution, no matter what it is, it's guaranteeing that you're going to be successful, and it's going to guarantee that you're going to be happy. That's exactly right. So, but I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in the marketplace. So I want to thank Mike for this article he sent to me. It said the coronavirus gets all the blame for the market implosion, but about 2/3 of these 19 bear market warning signs compiled by Bank of America were already flashing red, which is what we've been saying for over a year now, right? Is that there's all sorts of things flashing on red on the dashboard. So was the coronavirus the thing that caused the market to go down? It's a trick question. Was the coronavirus the thing that caused the market to go down? I got fear, got question mark. No, Paul. Paul, why do you say no, Paul? Because I agree with Paul. Supply chain, Bonnie, I agree with that. Yeah. So here's the thing. Remember what I said? The market's been with 19 flashing indicators that the market is way overvalued in all the ones I've been sharing one at a time or month by month. Remember, we're in that basement, or we're in that wooden shed with all sorts of 100-year-old papers and a can of gasoline. All it needed was a what? A spark. And does it really matter? So was it coronavirus that did this, or what did coronavirus just happen to be the spark? Yeah, it was the catalyst, Jeannie. Exactly right. So the bank's researchers have a list of 19 data points that once triggered, according to historical trends, indicate the market party is over. The list of 19 signs ranges from fundamental to sentiment-related indicators, and these are data tracking back to 1968. As reported by Megan Fitzgerald and CNBC, the signals for the bear market are as follows. See, these are the 19 different things that are causing the market to be overvalued or in danger of ending the longest bull market ever. In the 10% or 12% correction last year, are we out of a bull market, guys? Is the bull market, does that indicate that the bull market is done and we've reset the market now? No, we're still in the longest bull market ever. Because what does the market have to go down in order to reset again? How much? In order for it to reset, for statistical purposes, how far does that? That's right. Till's got it. 20%. 20%. So this is a different article from Seeking Alpha. I love Seeking Alpha, guys. If you want some of the best information on the markets out there, Seeking Alpha is a fantastic resource. This is one of their editorial opinion leaders says, right now, however, the U.S. markets are not fully factoring in the COVID-19. Perhaps maybe adjusting China's stimulus, artificially propping up the market outbreak. Now, with the S&P 500 trading at 19 forward earnings estimates that are likely too high given the evidence we are seeing in respect to slowdown due to COVID-19 and corporate debt levels more elevated than ever before. Note, a high debt level should depress the PE in enterprise valuation. Instead, it's gone up. The U.S. corporate debt has advanced 50% over the past decade to $10 trillion. It's our contention that the current market reflects a situation equivalent forward PE, right-sizing for new debt relative to the dot-com peak and adjusting for forward earnings expectations compared to future forecasts of 24.4. So they're looking at an adjusted PE based on these things of 24.4. Is 24.4 for the S&P 500 high or low for a PE? Super high, super high. So, and here's the thing, according to Bank of America, when 80% of the indicators have triggered, a bear market has occurred. So we have 16 of those, or 19 of those indicators. So this kind of indicator is akin to reading tea leaves. Though Bank of America has compiled a lot of historical data to support them, what they don't reflect is the unknown, like the impact of the coronavirus. How likely is the market to repel the contagion when these indicators suggest the patient is already sick? Oftentimes it's unknown that becomes the big one, the black swan event, potentially sending all the other indicators reeling. So back to alpha, it's seeking alpha. Hypothetically, a contraction of just to a 16 times forward multiple earnings estimate, just 10% below the forecast. Guys, could we see earnings estimates be 10% below forecast? Does that seem incredibly crazy to see, to have our the earnings be 10% under what people are predicting? No. And if it was just 10% below the forecast, we see a 20 to 30% reduction or correction in the markets. Okay. So now here's the thing. Are we hearing on the news right now some people saying, you know, the markets are, you know, we've seen that correction. We've seen that correction. It's really released the steam of the market. Now's a good time to buy again. Are we seeing that kind of bullshit? Are we hearing that kind of stuff? So I just want to walk you through something here, guys. This is the 08 crash. So guess, you know, we went from 14,000 down to 12,500 here. And then what were people on TV saying? What were the talking heads on TV saying? Oh, the steam has been released, so we're right here, right? So let me get a highlighter. So we're right here. And then what they say, oh, the steam's been released, buy. And then it could be, and they said, yeah, we're right. See, it came back up, and then what happened? So when we, you know, how long did it take for the bear market to occur in between 2000 and 2008? October and October. How long did it take? And were there times when it seemed like we'd hit bottom? Look at this. This is, for those of you that are technical indicators, what do we call this right here? What is that? Double bottom. So double bottom says what? We've hit bottom. We're now what? Time to go up. And it did go up until it what? Went down again, and then it went up. Till it went down again, then it went up. Till it went down again. So have we seen that, or in the last week, how many times did it go back up after last week? Didn't. But if it goes up this week, does it mean we're out of it? When do we know we're out of a bear market, guys? We know we're out of a bear market when? Over here someplace, right? That's where we know we're out of a bear market. Because do bear markets go down in one shot and then come back up? Or do they do this? Is it always this stuff? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Well, let's look at the next one here. Oh, I have to get out of that, I guess. Undo that. Okay, this is the 2002. What did the market do? Where's my get my highlighter back here. So it went down. I guess it's not working very well. So see how it's going? It goes down and up and 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 down and up. So how long did it take for that to happen? 2 years. Okay, let's look at the next one. 73, 74. What happened? Then down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up, down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and finally it started coming back up. So how do you know when we've hit bottom, guys? How do you know when we've hit bottoms? We never do. We know we've hit bottom 2 years later, right? That's when we know we hit bottom. So you ask that, when will this all end? You know, when's the market going to stop going down? So, Steve Case, what I figured out, and I can't predict the future. I just can't. I can predict the future. I can't predict when. So all the guys that are right now that I hear, all the talking heads online, what are they saying? All the talking heads on the TV shows, what are they saying? The market always comes back up. Don't panic. The market always comes back up. So are they absolutely right? Yes, they are. What's the problem with that statement, though? Yeah, Mark, Mike's got it, and so does Mark. Yeah, when? Because the people, when the market went down in 2000, 2002, when did they get even again? Just even. When did they get just even again? 2013. Yeah, you're right, Lonnie. 2008, and then what happened in 2008? It went down again. So then when did they actually get back to ground even for good? 2013. 13 years to get back to ground even. How about 2008 then? 5 years to get back to ground even. So, that's terrific. Your market's always going to come back up. The problem with that is what? I agree. The market's always going to come back. The problem is we don't know when. We don't know when. So why are the talking heads all saying the market, hey, don't panic. Now's a good buying time. The markets are going to come back up. Why do they all say that? This is an article from Market Watch. How many companies in the S&P 500 do you think have a majority sell ratings by analysts? So out of 500 companies, actually there's 505 stocks in the S&P 500. All of them are buys. Does that make any sense to you guys? They're all buys. So why are they all saying buy? Why is it always buy, buy? Why is Wall Street always never put sell ratings on stocks? How many asset managers tell their clients, you know what? The market's going down. Let's get all of our money out of stocks. How many asset managers would ever do that? Why wouldn't they do that? Yeah, Mark's got it. Yeah. Yeah, if markets go down, if they pull the money out and do the right thing for their clients, if they could somehow predict the market and did the right thing for their clients and pulled money out, they're getting paid what? Nothing. And here's how important is the following to your compensation? So this is right out of Wall Street, the analysts. So your industry knowledge is number one. Your standing in analyst rankings or broker votes. So when they're saying you're standing in analyst rankings or broker votes, is that based on opinion or based on facts? Yeah, it's the analyst's opinions. It's the broker's opinions. And guess who brokers like? Do they like analysts that say stocks are going down, or do brokers like analysts that say stocks are going up? And this is a joke. Your professional integrity, accessibility, responsibility, I get that. But look at down here. 8 and 9, 35%, less than half. What are they saying? The profitability of your stock recommendations, the accuracy and timeliness of your earnings forecast. Where should these things be? Where should these things be? On the top. So that's why can we ever believe the talking heads? No, they have a vested interest in always saying what? Everything's fine. The market's going to go up. Next year's going to be better than this year. Don't they? Make sense? Okay, so let's talk about what keeps wealth advisors, we're changing topic here, what keeps wealth advisors up at night? Well, obviously what keeps wealth advisors up at night are client concerns. So what are clients concerned about? Here's the funny thing. A survey of people with more than $8 million, would you say somebody with $8 million is, sitting pretty nice? Somebody with $8 million sitting pretty nice in today's world. Yeah, they're in the top 2%. You have to have $10 million to be in the top 1%, but the top 2% of the population, I would say, is still pretty good when you're ahead of 98% of people out there. But when they ask them, guess what? The only experts that have done this was running out of money. Are they worried about running out of money? People with $8 million. Do you think they should be worried about running out of money? No, and they're not. But what are they worried about? What are they worried about? Lifestyle. Will they have to change their lifestyle? Will they have to drive that car a couple more years? Will they have to stop, pull back on vacations? They're worried about lifestyle. And with people with $8 million, do they change their lifestyle when the market falls 30 or 40%? Do they? Yeah, Mike, they do. So the thing is that we shouldn't be trying to make these people all sorts of money. And if that works for, if your average client has $8 million and that's happening, what do you think that goes on in the mind of somebody with $1 million or $2 million or less? They're even more freaked out, right? Because they have even less wiggle room. So we got to be concerned about maintaining their lifestyle, not about trying to grow their money as much as possible. And right now we need to be worried about it, because the other thing that we're worried about is we're in a low rate environment. And if you're in a low rate environment, that means, can you put your money in CDs and in bonds? Can you put all your money in CDs and bonds? No, because you're only making what? 1%, or if you're lucky, 2%. So the unfortunate thing is, when that happens, what do you have to do? Take more risk. And when we're looking, based on what Jeff is telling me, when we're looking at all of the 21-point checklist been doing, where do most people who are retired have most of their money now? Now, I don't know about after last week, but where do they have, up to before last week, where do they have most of their money? It's in the market. And they're saying, well, I have to take more risk. I have to take more risk because I'm not making money in guaranteed. Dudes, that's like saying what? Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any, I'm not making money in guaranteed, so I got to take more risk. Because if you take more risk, could you be in even a worse situation when the market finally goes? And are we ever going to predict, or has anybody got an algorithm? Does anybody got some sort of crystal ball? We're going to predict when the market's down. And as we just looked at with all those, with the three stock market crashes in 2008, 73, 74, 2002, when the market goes down, do we have any idea of when to get back in, or is that a fool's errand? When the market goes down, do we have any clue when to get back in? No, we don't. So what do we do for our clients? I mean, they can't put them all into guaranteed, can't pull them all into the market. What do we do for our clients? Well, we know what we're going to do. Yeah, 50-50. See, because here's the thing. Saying over the last 12 years, after 12 years of nothing but great markets, what's everybody saying about risk? Well, I can take risk. Yeah, if I lost 20%, it wouldn't be a big deal because I know it's going to come back. They say that, but when you actually, it's like this. If I put a duct tape on the ground and said, "Hey, take a wheelbarrow and walk along that duct tape, and I'll give you $1 million," would most of you do it? I know I would. Because if the wheelbarrow falls off the duct tape, I don't win the $1 million, but what else happens? None. No risk. Now, how many on this call are going to do what these guys are doing with the wheelbarrow? Yeah, not me either. Even for $1 million, you wouldn't. How about if I said $5 million? Would you do it for that? I wouldn't either. So, when clients, that's why, what are risk parameter tests worth, guys? What are all these risk parameter tests worth? Nothing. Because the only thing that is going to replicate what it feels like to lose money is to what? Lose money. Yep. So we got to make sure that even though our clients say that risk is okay, you got to somehow let them know or have them experience it. So you got to do things like, okay, let's talk about that. So right now you have $1 million. Would you be okay with that $1 million over the next year going down to 600,000? Are we going to say, are you okay with the market going down 40%, or do we want to actually use the dollar amounts? Yeah, you want to use the dollar amounts. And then you got to go forward and say, so if it did go down 600,000, could you stop spending for the next 5 years and not pull any money out of that? What are they going to say to that? What are all your clients going to say to that? You got $1 million, it's going to fall down to 600,000, then you can't spend any money for 5 years. Because the difference between age 65 and 70 is what? Big or small? See, the difference between age 15 and age 20, not that big. Between age 20 and 25, not that big. The difference between 65 and 70, that's huge. If you told people to quit spending for 5 years, what happens to their joints, their knees, their hips, their energy level, their eyes, their strength? What happens? Yes. So traveling and doing the things they want to do goes down. So you got to walk them through. Pull out these charts and say, okay, this is what could happen. This is what happened in 2008. Okay, well, this is what happened in 2000 and 2002. You saw basically almost a 50%. Your $1 million goes down to 500,000, and it will take you 13 years. Can you hold off on spending for 13 years? What is everybody going to say? 73, 74. Your accounts go from over 2 years, you lose 50% again. And it's going to take you until 1987 to get back around even again. So that's what? It's like 15 years. Are you willing to do that? Now, that's what honest advisors who are honest with themselves, that's what they say. But what do other advisors who, I don't think they're dishonest in that they mean to lie, but I think they're dishonest into what their abilities actually can do. What do the majority of advisors tell their clients about these three situations? What do the majority of advisors tell their clients about these situations? Whether they're going to do it, or the algorithm is going to do it, or that they have a manager is going to do it. It won't happen again. That's one thing. This time it's different. Yep. Well, I don't think they're going to say, well, maybe they do say ride it out, but yes, we can prevent it. That's what they say. We'll avoid it. I've got an algorithm. I got a manager who's going to get us out in time. I've got a way to make sure we don't lose money. Because if the advisors actually said, let's ride it out for 13 years in 73, 74, in 2000 and 2002, or let's write it out for 5 years. If advisors are actually telling their clients it's going to take us a minimum of 5 years to ride these things out, or 13 or 15 years to ride these things out, how many clients would want to be as in the market as much market in the market as they are right now? So what do advisors do? What I hear, guess what I'm hearing on the TV right now? Yeah, the market comes down, but it always comes what? Back up. But are they saying how long it can take to go back up when they say that? I've heard them say, yes. Hey, last year, 2 years ago, the market went down 10%. It came right back in a week. So what do they use? They conveniently use what? The best case scenario or the worst case scenario when they talk about the market coming back up? Yeah. And is that, that might be okay for a 20-year-old. I totally agree. Saying that is perfect for somebody who's in their 20s, their 30s, or their 40s, and we're talking about the 401k money. Should we be saying those things with our clients who are retired? No way. Look at this. This is, you're all familiar with this with the FIA. How long did it take for people to get their money back from 2000 to 2002? So you know what? It's easy to lose 50%. We've seen it happen twice in 20 years. How long does it take though to make 100%? Because that's what, if you lose 50%, you got to make 100%. How long does it take? Yeah, a long time. Doesn't take long to lose 50%, but sure in the heck takes a long time to make 100%. Right? So what can cause these kind of things? Political risk, right? And we're seeing political risk right now because do we have any clue? Our political environment right now on the Democrat side, on the Republican side, is it stable? Do we know what to expect? Or every single day it's some new thing in the news? It's extremely volatile on both Republican and Democrat side, right? But is that the only political risk we're worried about? No, we've got China, we got Russia, we got Africa, we've got the Latin America. We're talking about buying Greenland, things like that. Because what is the market like? What is the market like? Craziness or stability? Predictability or unpredictability? So so the coronavirus right now is the reason we're having problems with that is because it's very unpredictable. So what's another concern? Well, a lot of people who are wealthy, they're wondering what? Have I spoiled my children? How do I pass that money on to my children? How do I make them comfortable, more responsible with the money? That's another thing that concerns people with a lot of money. But here's a big concern: cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a hot topic with people with money. Why? Hacking, yeah. And phishing is becoming less sophisticated or more sophisticated? More and more sophisticated, especially what they call spear phishing. I want to talk about that. I'm going to walk you through a story of what they're doing now, okay? So we're going to talk about spear phishing. So a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, when I hear, so Experian was broken into, but they didn't get into financial data, but they did get 250 million email accounts. And I'm thinking, well, I don't really give a crap if they get my email account, as long as they didn't get my financial account. Could some of your clients think just like I do, that, you know what, yeah, as long as they don't get my account numbers and my passwords and all they get is my email, I'm cool? Well, I had my eyes open here when I read this article. So can I walk through with you an article? Because the number one thing we can do, I want to walk you through a story of what can happen when people spearfish, okay? So let's say your email has been hacked, okay? So your email has been hacked. So so once it's been hacked, the fraudster is monitoring your activity on email real time. They probably won't send your firm a fraudulent email request, but they can see what you're doing frequently. And when they see that you email that you want money, you can request money or changing from one account to another account on your email, they can see that, okay? So do you have clients that do communicate through email and will tell you, I need to withdraw $5,000 or move it over here or move it over there? Do clients do that? Sure they do. Okay, so after the most recent ACH request, the fraudster calls your client posing as a representative from the bank to verify the ACH transaction and to make sure that everything is in good order. Because the fraudster expects your client to be suspicious of the call, they then will send a text message with an authorization number from the ABC bank system. The client believes this is legitimate and reads the authorization number to the fraudster. So what did the client just give the fraudster? The authorization number to what? The keys, exactly, Glad. The keys to get in. So the client doesn't realize that the fraudster actually used the ABC's bank password reset process for sending the text message, and now the fraudster has the authorization number to complete the password reset process if they work with the client. They create a new password, giving them the full access to the client's ABC bank account and essentially locking the client out of it at the same time. So now they what? They go in, they take that, the client has given them the keys, they go into the reset process, reset it, and then they can get into the account and the client can't get into the account. And then how long does it take for them to empty that account? Seconds. Hey, did anybody see in the news about somebody who's very prominent just got scammed for $400,000 using this spear phishing? Who was it, Glad? Yep, Barb. Barb from Shark Tank. Is she an idiot or is she pretty darn smart? She is pretty darn smart. And they actually use this very process to scam her for $400,000. And was she able to get that money back? Nope. What was gone. So here's the thing that you should be doing with your clients, okay? So ideas to protect yourself and your clients. First of all, go through and tell them, talk about Barb from Shark Tank. Go through kind of the story that I just went through, because a picture paints 1,000 words. You can't just say, hey, make sure you're doing your P's and Q's on when it comes to cybersecurity. Give them a horror story. Why do you want to give them a horror story? You got to share stories of what can happen. Why? Isn't that what we do with the power of attorney? We walk them through, because if you just say, hey, you know what, your power of attorney doesn't work, Social Security, they say, oh, wow, that's troublesome. But what happens, guys that have done this, what happens when you walk through that story of what can happen? Does it make it immensely more powerful, or like, oh, well, yeah, whatever? Yeah, it hits home. It hits home. So what's something else besides, once you share the story, then what can they do? Well, one thing they can do is freeze their credit report. Because somebody who's retired, how often are they opening up new credit cards? How often are they taking out loans? How often are they, getting a new home, buying a new home? Often is that happening? Not much, not often. So Why wouldn't they want to freeze their credit report so that nobody can get in and take their or create new accounts from them? Also, if they're buying a home, how prevalent is this wire fraud when buying a home now? Those of you that have bought a home recently, how much emphasis do the realtors and the banks put on be unbelievably careful when wiring the money, double checking, triple checking, calling the bank, having them on the phone, and you calling the bank, not the bank calling you, you calling the bank. Do you want to take a call from the bank calling you guys? Should you ever take a call from the bank calling you? No, for the very story I just went through. You should call the bank. And a number that's emailed to you, or you call the regular bank number and get over to that person. You call the regular bank number and get over to that person. So, fraud screens when it comes to money. And then always be suspicious of different or odd requests. So if it's something that's never happened before, such as the story that I went through, nobody's ever called from the bank talking to that person saying, hey, send me a text message with the authorization number on the phone. Does the bank ever do that? No. So if somebody does that, that's weird, right? And it is weird. Be careful of that. So every single time you meet with your clients, cover with them at their interview, but really every single time that if anything, any correspondence or phone call or email, any correspondence that comes from my office is different or suspicious, how glad will you be for them to call you? Will you be rolling your eyes saying, what a waste of time? Or are you going to be super happy that they just wanted to double check? Very happy. That's right. So how often you should tell the clients that if there's even a sniff, a smoke, a whiff of something that doesn't seem kosher, they should what? Call you. And that's with your accounts, but really with any of the other accounts, they should what? Do the same. Do the same. Do the same. Give your clients a list of things that you would never do as it relates to their accounts. Okay? So are you ever going to, when their accounts, are you ever going to want them to give you their account numbers over email or over the phone? Are you ever going to want them to give you passwords via email over the phone? Are you ever going to tell them what you'll never, ever, ever do so that they know that that's weird. Does that make sense? So these are the kind of things that your clients are worrying about. These are the kind of things that other advisors' clients are worrying about. So should we blow off the identity theft during the 21-point checklist as something that is not really that important? Or do we need to really zoom in and make sure that they understand that these kind of things are how important? Very, very, very. Make sense? Cool. And then the thought for the week is this. We first make our habits, then our habits make us. What habit do I want you to do every single day? The 15-minute drill. Is there anything that would happen in your workday that should prevent you from doing the 15-minute drill? No. Because it should be the first thing that you do. If you don't look at the paper, if you don't look at your emails, if you don't look at your voicemail for 15 minutes, will that affect your business one iota? No. Nobody knows if you're looking at taking 15 minutes to look at it or not looking at it for 15 minutes. Nobody knows that. But if you don't do your 15-minute drill, that will affect your business. If you are awesome at your 15-minute drill, you're going to be awesome at life and you're going to be awesome in your business. And if you ever want Jeff or I to kind of help you through a 15-minute drill or kind of look over your shoulder on a 15-minute drill, make a time for us to talk to you. We're happy to kind of see how you've been doing your 15-minute drills and make sure that you're getting the most out of that and leveraging those things. Make sense? Awesome. Well, I know you guys have lots to do this week based on what happened last week, so we'll go ahead and let you go early here to get at it, and I appreciate you being on the call. We'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.